There's the scene where you guys, Malcolm, are playing. You and Bill are playing Monopoly. Is an incredible scene. It talks a lot about the relationship between these two characters. What do you remember about that?
Well, I remember. I think what was most impactful for me was I think the scene after this when Theo gives this wonderful speech about being regular people. I don't want to be a doctor like you or a lawyer like Mom. I just want to be regular people, and why can't you love me for me? And it was a wonderful, heartfelt speech. The audience applauded.
And I didn't expect that.
You didn't expect the applause?
Right. The audience applauded. They really felt where Theo was coming from. And the camera switches back to Cliff, and he says, Theo, that was the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. And what was really important about that moment is, in any other sitcom, Theo would have given that speech, the music would have started, the father would have said, son, you're right, they would have hugged, and it would have been a tender, sappy moment. But it was wonderful that that moment really set the tone for the show, that it was not going to be like every other sitcom. It was going to be, it was really going to come from reality. So it really was a dumb speech, and and Cliff caught him on it, and told him, no, you were going to study. You were afraid to study. You were going to study, and then after that, he hugged him and told him that he loved him. That was a very, I think that really set the tone for what this show was going to be about.
If you run the show,
I want to play a clip from The Daily Show, and then I want to use that to talk about something on the other side. Take a look at this, folks.
Who is Barack Obama?
It's simple. He's Cliff Huxtable.
How is he Cliff Huxtable?
Well, for starters, they're both married to hot lawyers, both work out of offices on the west side of their houses, and both have unrealistically cute daughters.
Kind of plays off something that was in the New York Times back in last year. It says, The Cosby Show, which began on NBC in 1984 and depicted the Huxtables, an upwardly mobile black family, a departure from the dysfunction and bickering that had characterized some previous shows about black families, had succeeded in changing racial attitudes enough to make an Obama candidacy possible. I'm just curious what your take is on that. Did this show pave the way in some ways for a President Obama?
Well, I think you've got, you got this show which changed the way white America and black America looked at the black middle class. But at the same time, you had 24 that had a black president. You had, so many movies that had black presidents. So I don't know if you could really, I don't think.
But this was 1984. This was a long time ago. Did it?
Yeah, I think it, as I started to say, I think it definitely changed the way people saw black people in terms of, reality and the way they were being portrayed as opposed to the stereotypical ways. But I don't know if, Cosby could, can really take the claim for.
Felicia?
I agree with Malcolm. I do. I think that what the show does, and not just in America, but around the world, is clearly demonstrate that people are much more alike than we could ever be different. And given the opportunity, we are willing and wanting to embrace the likeness. I think that's what we did.
You work on, you're the latest. Tell them how you feel.
About
your work and the show. But you've had your own series.
I have had my own series, and with the content that we had, they said, well, did you get those ideas from the Cosby Show, since you were on such a very uplifting African-American family type of show? And I said, it's all subconsciously embedded in my system and the people that I worked with. And I think that right now we're missing that in our TV. We have the Cosby Show. My brother, who's 17, and his younger friends watch it. We need more shows like this, and it's hard and difficult because there's not a lot of strong people like Mr. Cosby out there ready to just put their foot down and say no. You know what I'm saying? We need it like this. This is what we have to show. This is what we need to teach the audience that are ignorant in the ways of what they think African-American families look like. And I think that we need it again.
What's interesting
is about 30 seconds, Bill.
They use our show, but don't forget, there are a whole bunch of white shows on. And media kept saying, this is a real family, Roseanne. This is a real family, married with children. This is a real family. Bart Simpson. This is a real family. You know, so, I mean, they were all coming against us. Against us. We had a psychiatrist who was making corrections, and we were saying words, giving information to parents so that they would have choices of how to react to their children.
I think The Simpsons had that too.
And they were a real family, remember that, right? Hey guys, thanks for sticking around.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Great to see you all.
Thank you.
And they're going to stick around and answer some viewer questions in our next hour. Don't forget the 25th anniversary commemorative edition DVD.